Here we're going to see God's sovereignty in action. Some stories say when her mom was pregnant with her dad died before she was born, and during the delivery her mom died giving birth to her. And some stories say that the mom died giving birth to her, and then the dad looked after her until he became sick, he became unwell, and then he died. So both stories agree that the mom died giving birth to her, but we don't know if her dad died before she was born or if her dad looked after her for a bit before he died. So anyway, so her cousin Mordecai now raised the child as his own. Now some stories say she was actually Mordecai's wife. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. But the Bible does not say she was married to Mordecai. But there's some Talmud saying that she was actually Mordecai's wife. And that's why Mordecai was very protective of her and was always outside the palace, always around, looking out for his wife. I don't know. What do you think? You know, you can comment and let me know your thoughts on this. So anyway, she was born in Susa. It's likely her grandparents were brought during the exile to Persia, which is Susa or Shushan. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. And then maybe her parents were young when they also came, or maybe they were born in Susa, which I don't think. They were probably young and they came. But Esther was born in Susa. Her Jewish name is Hadassah. Esther is a Persian name. You know, most of us living in the UK, we have Christian names and we have traditional names as well. So she was called Esther, commonly known as Esther. So the king Xerxes had to get rid of his wife Vashti because of her disobedience. I have taught the book of Esther. I will add it to the back of this video, so I will not go in depth. I will not go into the whole book. We're just focusing on Esther in this Women of the Bible story. So he had got rid of Vashti and he was looking for a new bride. Now the Bible says in Esther chapter 2, I think from verse 16, that Esther was taken, which means it was not her will, it was not her wish. She did not just go and present herself. When the announcement went out over all the provinces that the king's looking for a new queen, so all the virgins should present themselves, it does not appear that Esther willingly just went and said, you know, I'm available, I want to be queen. She wouldn't have thought like that because she's a Jewish girl. The king Xerxes is a heathen, an uncircumcised heathen. Probably does not eat kosher, maybe not probably, definitely will not be eating kosher, drinks a lot of alcohol and stuff. So she wouldn't want to be in that environment. But the Bible says she was taken along with the other virgins into the palace. So now there was this purification and beautification ceremony that all the virgins had to go through, which lasted about 12 months, where they will, you know, beautify themselves and they will be taught how to be in the presence of the king, how to walk, how to present themselves, maybe how to use the different utensils, you know, just things befitting a queen in that 12 months. So when it was time for her to appear before the king, there's a wardrobe, a walking wardrobe that all the girls can just go in, choose whatever they want, put it on, adorn themselves and go before the king. When the king has finished with them, they don't go back to where all the virgins are kept. They now go to another place in the palace, probably for the concubines. So it's most likely that the king actually sleeps with the virgins when they go to him, when it's their time to appear before him. He sleeps with them. When he doesn't find them desirable, they're sent off to the concubines' quarters. Now these girls will not be released. There's nobody who's going to marry them. So they are there now as the king's playthings. So whenever maybe the queen has a headache, he can go and get one of the concubines and takes her for the night. So they will be there. So it's time for Esther to go in. The wardrobe is open. She's free. She can take whatever she wants. But she asks the advice of Haggai, the eunuch, the chief eunuch. He knows the king very well. He served the king for many years. And she says, you know, what do you think I should take? Haggai advises her, the king likes this, the king loves this color, the king wants this. And she listens to him. She goes, she appears before the king, and she finds favor. So Esther, the Jewish girl, now becomes queen of Persia. Her cousin Mordecai advises her not to let her Jewish descent known. She shouldn't let them know that she's a Jew. She should hide it for now. So she's called Esther. She doesn't let on that she's also called Hadassah. Nobody knows much about her. So she's there. She's in the palace, probably wondering why God has placed her in such heathen surroundings, wondering maybe God has forsaken her, wondering, you know, what on earth is she doing here? This is a heathen king. How can I be married to him? I'm surrounded by all these heathen people. They don't observe Sabbath. They don't observe our dietary customs, our laws, our rules, nothing. And yet God, Yahweh, permitted me to be in this environment. But little did she know that she was there for a reason, that God actually orchestrated everything to happen that way, because she needed to be there at a particular time, as we shall see as the story unfolds. And then there's this man, Haman, who is the second in command to the king, who suddenly wants to wipe out all the Jews because Mordecai refuses to bow before him. I will not go into detail. I will add the full video at the back of this one. So if you haven't watched my summary of the book of Esther, you can watch it after this. So the Haman's plot, it fails. So he cannot wipe out all the Jews. But Esther had a part to play in this, because her cousin Mordecai went to her and said, you have to go to the king, you have to plead on behalf of your people. And at first she's thinking, well, he hasn't called me for 30 days. I can't just appear before him. You know, we don't do that in the palace. I have to wait till he summons me. And then Mordecai now tells her that don't think you'll be exempt because you are the queen. Both you and your father's house will all perish if you don't do anything. And God will raise another deliverer for us. Who knows? Maybe this is the reason why you are in the palace at a time like this. This is when it will suddenly dawn on Esther that, oh my God, I'm actually here for a reason. So she now tells her cousin Mordecai, tell all the Jews to fast 3 days, no food, no water. I and my mates will also fast, and then I will go and see the king. And if I perish, I perish. So she was prepared to lay her life down for her people. That she was the last chance, she was the only hope that her people had to survive, because of this decree that had gone out, that all of them needed to be wiped out. It would be total annihilation. Even the Jews will be wondering that, is it because we did not go back to the promised land? When King Cyrus said that all the Jews can go back, some chose to remain in Susa, some chose to remain in Persia. They had built their empires. Why should they go back to a land that is barren? They have to go and rebuild everything, start afresh. So some chose to remain. So now they'll be thinking, is this punishment from God? Because we refuse to go back to the promised land to rebuild the wall, to rebuild the temple, and instead we chose to stay in this hidden land. And is that now why God is, has turned his face away, and we're all going to die? So Esther plays her role. She goes to the king. She finds favor before him. He does not slaughter her. And as the story goes, Haman dies instead of the Jews. And even a lot of the Persians, they became Jews because of that decree, the counter decree that the king made, that the Jews can defend themselves instead of just being sitting ducks and waiting for the Persians to wipe them all out. So this terrified the Persians, and most of them became Jews as a result, so that they will not be killed. So you can see God's sovereign plan in this, in his hand. He made it that Queen Vashti will disobey the king, and the king will have to get rid of her. He made it that Esther will be chosen amongst all the young virgins in all the provinces. There was about 127 provinces. She was chosen for a reason, you know, to save her people. If Esther was not in the palace at that time, the story, the history would have been rewritten. The story would be completely different today. So God, it was all in God's sovereign plan. You know, the same thing with Joseph. It was all in God's sovereign plan that Joseph should be in Egypt at that time to save the world at that time. You know, if not, almost everyone would have been wiped out because of that famine that ravaged the whole world at that time, that ancient world. But God placed Joseph in that position at that time. That was his reason, even though he went through a lot to get there. But that was the reason. So God orchestrated everything. So you might be going through some things which you just don't understand. You know, you just pray about it. God probably, most likely, has a hand in it. I went through so much. 2017 in a church, I was perplexed. I was wondering, what is going on, God? Why have you forsaken me? Why have you turned your back? Those I thought will support me did not. Those I thought will bring about reconciliation did not. Instead, they will say there that, no, don't forgive her. She doesn't look sorry. No, yeah, I've seen her. She is rude. That's how she is. And I will be there baffled that why are these people talking like this? Surely they should be pleading on my behalf. Surely they should want to bring about reconciliation. Instead, they made things worse. You know, and at that time, I just could not understand why. God, why? I am serving you. I am your child. And I'm facing all of this in a church. You know, not like in my secular job. I just couldn't understand. Eventually, I was forced to leave that church. I had no choice. I had to leave. 3 weeks after I left, God opened doors for me. My blog started. My YouTube channel started. So many things. I joined writers. I was like, whoa, God, you know, because he had much more for me. He saw that where I was, that's not where he has placed me. I was there for training, and I finished my training. I was not supposed to go out, but I didn't want to leave. I was happy there. I was content. It was my little cocoon, my comfort zone. So God raised up these people and said, push her out. And they did. They did their work perfectly. I could not believe it. I said, and these are Christians. Why are they treating me like this? But God used each and every one of them. So I am really grateful to them. I'm really thankful to them. I won't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for them. So you see, that's how it is. And because of the decree that Haman wrote, he unwittingly made the Jews even become more close to God. They all prayed. They all fasted. Maybe they were getting lax. You know, maybe they were getting complacent. We are happy. We eat. Everything is fine for us. And because of that decree, the Jews got up in great force. They now remembered Yahweh. If they had forgotten him, they started praying. They were fasting and everything, you know, because of that decree. And God answered them. It was overturned in the end. So sometimes you do need an adversary. Will push you, make you get up, make you go on your knees and say, God, have mercy. So this is the story of Esther, the young Jewish girl that became queen of Persia. The whole video of Esther is at the end of this. So watch it. It's very interesting. Watch it. And I thank you all for joining me on Women of the Bible. So I see you in the next woman, the next character. Consider subscribing so that when I upload another video, you'll get a notification and then you'll be able to come and watch. God bless you. Bye.